Hi friends, Susan Campfield here with SueStampfield.com. I wanted to share a fun little Easter box that you can make for this weekend's Easter events. Here's our little box. It's a carrot made out of the Cutie pie Thinlits. So let's get started. Flip the camera around here and clip it in so that you can see. So this is the little box that we're making, and it's made out of the Cutie pie Thinlit dies, which are right here. This also can make a slice of cake or a pie, but today we're going to make it into a carrot. Now, if you don't have this for this weekend and you want to make this, perhaps you could do it next year. You do want to pick these up, though, because they are being retired right now. So you're going to want to make sure you get those before they're gone. Sorry, I have some whiny puppies here. It's time for our morning jog, and we haven't done that yet, so they're getting anxious. So sorry about that. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you want to do is take the die, and I'm using paper pumpkin cardstock here, and I cut two of the dies out from this large die right here. And what we want to do is join those together, but before we do that, before we adhere them together, we want to add a couple of things. So we want to remove this tab right here, and I think you can see that when this is folded and goes together, we end up with two tabs in the front of the box, and we only need one. So we're going to cut that off here, grab my paper snips, and just cut along the score. I have to swing around the camera here so I can see. There we go. And now, before we want to stick the two pieces together, we do want to emboss them. And if you can see the ridges here, I used the Seaside embossing folder to get those carrot type ridges. So I'm going to pull in my Big Shot machine here. And I've got my Seaside embossing folder. And I didn't really want embossing on the part of the box that opens, which is right here. By the way, inside I have the carrot cake Hershey Kisses to go with my carrot theme here for my box. So close that back up. But you see how I don't have any embossing on the top. So to do that, you're going to just take your piece, and you're going to have to do these two separately, and you're going to put it in your folder. So I wanted my lines to be going across the box this way, like a carrot would normally be. So you don't want to pay attention when you put that in, that you put it in the right direction. And then I didn't worry about this side piece. That's going to be covered up, but I didn't want any embossing on the flap of my box. So I just lined it up with the edge of the score line, and then I put it in my Big Shot machine here, put the top plate on, and I sent that through. Now this embossing folder is going to be staying. Whoops, I'm realizing I have one extra platform here, and that's why it's not going through. If you have the newer style platform, you don't want that piece for embossing, you just want this piece. So a little piece of paper in there too. There we go. So send it through. Now if you don't have this embossing folder, this one is staying, by the way, it's not retiring. But if you want to make it for this weekend and you have the hardwood embossing folder with the wood, or the wood grain embossing folder, that would get you a similar effect. So there you've got your lines on your box, and then you're just going to repeat that with the other side. And then I'm just going to show you how to put the box together and how to do this, the ribbon at the top to make it look a little more carroty. Put this one through. Making some crunching sounds, but that's okay. That's totally normal. Slide that back out of the way. So now I'm going to take some tear and tape and attach these together. My tear and tape was hiding. Here we go. So this is very, very strong adhesive, which is what I want to use to put my box together. And I want to join these two right here. So I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape right on here. And although you can tear this tape, you can also cut it, which I want a little bit of an angle here. So I'm going to just cut that with my snips. And then the steering tape is just a little bit, you see that? It's just a little bit wider than my tab, but that's not a problem. I'm just going to peel off the backing here. And then the part that's hanging over, I'm just going to fold that back in. It's sticky, so it'll stick onto itself, no problem. I just don't want any stickiness on the inside of my box because my treats might stick to that. And then I'm just going to adhere it onto this part of the box, like so. And then we're going to go ahead and do that on the other side as well. Fold on this. And we're going to fold on this. And then I'm going to add one more piece of tear and tape over here. And I'm also going to add a little piece on the front of the box. It's a little bit harder to find those 4 lines once you've embossed, but they are still there. You just need to bend, fold on them, and you're all good. So that's how the box goes together, and you put your treat inside. So let's talk quickly about our ribbon and how I did that. Now for our little tag here, I used the basket bunch stamp set and the coordinating framelit dies for the basket bunch, which are right here. And then for the tag, I use the stitch shape framelit dies. These dies, you get this fun little stitching around the die, and you get circles, ovals, and squares. These are available. They're not in any publication right now, but if you do a search in my online store, they'll pop right up and you can order those. So the bunny I cut out with the matching framelits, and then the carrots. I colored the carrot and the bunny using mostly the in-color markers. I used the peach color to do the base of the carrot, the Emerald Envy to do the stem of the carrot, and then the Flirty Flamingo to do the bunny ears and bow tie. And then I grabbed my pumpkin pie marker from my Brights collection and just did a little bit of highlighting on my carrot on the little lines there. And those are popped up with dimensionals after I cut them out. I actually put the bunny on first with 1 dimensional, and I put a 1/2 dimensional on the back of each carrot and stuck those in his hands. And then I used my 1/8 inch circle punch to punch a little hole. But let me just show you really quickly how I did my the top of my carrot. So I have 2 pieces of the ruched Emerald Envy ribbon. Now, a lot of these things are retiring, so if you want to make this project even for next year, you do want to pick these up. The basket bunch stamp set and framelit dies are retiring, as well as the Cutie Pie dies and this fun ruched ribbon. So I have 2 pieces here. This long one is 21 inches, and I just did it back and forth accordion, fold like that. I wanted at least 3 loops on each side. You can do more or less, but I wanted at least 3. And I took a shorter, then I took a piece of twine. This is 10 inches. And once I had that accordion folded, oops, popped out on me. Bear with me. Get that back in line there. Oops, I want a 3rd one right here. And again, you don't have to do 3 loops on each side. You just want it nice and fluffy, so make sure you get lots of loops, and they can be varying lengths and sizes. It doesn't really matter. But then just take your piece of, this is actually linen thread, not twine, sorry. And again, this is about a 10-inch piece. And I just tied it in a knot, just kind of bunching together the ribbon that I had folded up, and then tie it in a knot. Okay, so that's going to be for the top, and then my other piece of twine, of ribbon, which is 12 inches, I wrapped around the flap of the box. I'll show you here really quickly on my box. It's not wanting to fold because of all my score lines. It's wanting to fold everywhere, actually. So I wrapped it around here, and then I just started to tie it there, and then I popped in my little pile of ribbon here. Leave those twine threads down because that's how you're going to attach your tag, and then just do the second part of your knot, including that little bundle of ribbon. Then you can fluff it and trim the ends and make it look more carroty, but that is how I did this part of my box. So that's all there is to it. Have fun with that, and everybody have a great Easter, and remember to pick up these little Hershey Kisses that are carrot cake flavored because they're just perfect for this little box. Bye-bye. Happy crafting.